Welcome to the Housekeepers Podcast. Dare I say the cleanest hour in podcasting. And I've got to tell you, this week, today has just been the whole week's been a real joy. And today is going to be even better. It's going to be so much fun with my friend, Josiah Moore. What's happening, brother?
How you doing, Ralph?
I'm doing really great, man. I am so excited to have you on because, I'm pitching all the time, trying to find people to be on the show. And I'm always, just unique ways. And there are a few times when people recommend other people to me, and you were the first person that somebody recommended me to you to me without knowing who you were. So how does that work? What it is a friend of mine a friend of mine went to an event at the Dr. Phillips Center, which is where you work.
Correct.
And they said, whoever cleans this place needs to be on your podcast. And I was like,
yeah.
And that's how I found you. I started researching. I'm like, who the heck is the executive housekeeper, the manager over at Dr. Phillips Center? And that's how I found you. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It seems like you do a really great job down there. So where is the Dr. Phillips Center? It is in Florida, right?
Yes, it's in Orlando, Florida, the city beautiful, right across from the city hall. Matter of fact, downtown Orlando. So.
Very cool.
Okay.
Very cool. So, did you grow up in Florida? Are you from there?
I am actually born and raised in Orlando. So.
No kidding.
That's rare.
It's like Vegas, right? It's like one of those places where nobody's ever from there, and here you are. You're from. So, what was it like growing up in Orlando?
A lot of trips to Disney.
Nice. A little jealous. All right, here we go.
Sunshine in the wintertime. So I can't complain there.
Yeah. So what? So you went to school in Orlando? Did you play sports in school, or did you work at all?
I had a little bit of everything. I was in band. I was in band pretty much all through high school. I ran track, did a little bit of football. So, I consider myself a athletic venture,
What instrument did you play in band?
Snare drum.
Nice.
I was the drum captain. So
wow.
A lot of good times in band. Yeah, love it.
That's fantastic. So, did you work at all in high school, or when?
In high school,
even in grade school? Like, when did you work? What was your first job?
First job at Mickey D's in high school.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was a Burger King kid myself.
Yeah. It was good stuff, man. Good stuff.
1,000,000%. What did your parents do?
My mom, she actually got into law enforcement while I was in high school, and just continued there. My dad, he was a cook by trade, so I consider myself an awesome cook as well. That's something I do on the side, do a little culinary.
I love cooking. I love it. I'm right there with you. There with you.
Love entertaining the family with a good plate of food.
There's nothing better, right? Nothing better than making something that you think is great, but then somebody else is like, "Oh my God!" That whatever it is. What's the meal that you bring to all your like family gatherings? Do you have a dish?
My specialty is chicken, so I curry chicken. I grill it. I just had some amazing barbecue. I was
nice.
Better function for Labor Day, so I'm usually the go-to man on the grill for those.
Nice.
So yeah.
My dish, the one dish that is so lame, it truly is. But my dish to family functions is stuffing muffins, which all it is, it's just stuffing. Well, not just stuffing. I mean, I try to church it up, of course, to make it really great. But then I cook it in muffin tins because I like crunchy stuffing. And so the muffin tin, it's crispy all the way around.
I'm going to have to steal that one from you, right?
Please do. Please do. It's all yours. And it comes, with a muffin tin, it's a serving size.
Right. And I hope you use cranberry sauce as well.
Of course. Love cranberry sauce.
very saucy when you talk about stuff.
Yeah, 1,000,000%, 1,000,000%. So that's really fantastic. So your dad's a cook, your mom works in law enforcement. Do you have any siblings at all?
I am the only child.
Ah, good for you. I'm the youngest of 4. Trust me, you made out well.
Yes, yes.
A lot of people are like, I wish I had a brother or a sister. Yeah, unless you're the youngest. Trust me, you don't want to be the youngest. You're beat up on, picked on.
I think that's where I picked up some of my early housekeeping skills. So who else is going to clean the house?
Yeah, yeah. So out of high school, what did you do? What was your first like official job, real job? Did you go to college?
I did go to college. I spent some time in the community college here locally in Orlando. And then I actually went into law enforcement myself. I was a CEO for a correctional officer,
Wow.
but it wasn't for me, so I quickly exited to the left of that.
It wouldn't be for me either. I just did a presentation up in New Hampshire gosh, I think it was more than a year ago now, but for the Bureau of Prisons. And they let me, they took me on a tour. That was the worst tour in my like, what's the tour? It wasn't, I could not imagine working there. No.
Not the life, but shortly after that is when I found myself in the hospitality industry. I began at Westgate Resort. I spent a lot of my beginning of my career there, where I really grew professionally and got some great mentors. Learned the hospitality industry. So I spent almost 10 years at Westgate Resorts here in Orlando.
So how did you get in there? Like, what was your first job?
First job, Ralph, was a bellman. Actually, I was just in guest services. Working under the bell staff there, taking luggage to the room, and I just grew from there. I always had a passion for people, and I was always a people person. Always had a smile on my face. So they quickly learned that they could use that passion to grow me in that department and beyond. So yeah, that's where I started out there. I quickly became the supervisor of that department, and put some customer service techniques and programs into play. And so one day, the director of housekeeping there was like, "Hey, we could use that customer service aspect in housekeeping because you can always use service in any department that you're in." So they saw a need, and I filled that need there, and the rest is history. I've been in housekeeping.
Well, I interviewed a guy from India named Panji, and you're kind of saying a similar story where he too, like in India, when you start working in hotels and in hospitality, you kind of work in you work in the front desk, you work as a bellman, you work in the culinary, you work in housekeeping, like, and then as you go through it, you kind of choose like what's the best fit for you. And for him, it was the housekeeping side. He just absolutely loved it. And it sounds like you got a similar story here.
I love it, man. Housekeeping is, especially if you have one of the departments that, it's big, it's plenty of, and at that time, I was a part of maybe, it was 100 plus housekeepers altogether.
How many rooms? How many rooms was the hotel?
Oh my gosh, over 2,500 rooms. It was a big timeshare. It's a timeshare resort. So, I mean, we had several managers that split that area up.
Wow.
Just like family. And a lot of these housekeeping departments are family. You spend a lot of time with them, and you try to make it to where they love coming to work. Because, to be honest with you, we do the grunt, the work that a lot of people don't want to do. A lot of people wouldn't want to get, clean toilets and clean up after people, for a living. So the best thing I can do as a manager is to train them and develop them and make sure that they at least love what they do and are able to move up if they want to in the career ladder, and make sure they feel like they're a vital part of the family.
I think it's certainly what drew, honestly, what drew me to housekeeping. It was they were the only people who would hire me. But that was like first job, housekeeper was taking anybody. I was like, oh, I could do it then. But I love that it is the kind of industry where the entry is super low barrier to enter into the industry. And then the sky is truly the limit. It's all up to you.
Yeah.
If you've got a poor attitude and you want to sneak around and try to get away with not doing as much as you're supposed to be doing, there's a place for you, but it's not. There's very limited places for you, right? I mean, we hire them, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but conversely, if you are, you don't even have to be the greatest. If you show up on time, if you work hard, if you have a good, you know, demeanor, you're happy, you're smiling, putting guests first. I mean, how easy is it to grow in this industry?
Yeah, that great attitude, having a great attitude can, put you in, create numbers of opportunities for you.
A
And that
million percent.
organization, definitely, yeah. Having a great
Yeah.
attitude. Plus, we can train you. I can train you how to clean, but having that great attitude and wanting to come to work and be responsible, that's another level that you require to have.
No question. And you did this for 10 years there, yeah?
Almost 10 years, yeah, yeah.
Why did you leave?
Hospitality, especially in Orlando, you rarely have a weekend or a holiday off. And I have
You mean never?
right. Now and then, you might sneak one in, but I had two young children at the time, and I just hated the fact that I was missing out on pretty much every holiday and every weekend with them. So I wanted to make sure I was spending that time and getting that valuable time with them. So I made a little move from the hospitality industry. Yeah.
How long ago did you make the move?
That was my son so it's about almost 7 years ago. And I landed from there. I went into sort of the healthcare. I was with a senior living facility for a while.
As a housekeeping manager?
Housekeeping manager, yeah.
Wow. We are completely in sync here. I did the same thing. It's exactly what happened to me. I went from the hotel industry. I actually, I had a little spot in there between hotel cleaning and nursing home cleaning, senior care cleaning. I did house cleaning for a little bit. Right in the center there, I did some house cleaning.
Yeah.
Which is also a pretty great business if you can get into it.
It is, yeah. So from there, so I did a little bit of housekeeping, but it was the most, I wouldn't say odd, but it was definitely interesting. So after the senior living facility, I ended up doing like not college dorm, but I worked for a company that subleased apartments to students, college students, and that was an experience altogether.
Were you just in charge when it comes to cleaning? Were you just in charge of like common spaces and parking garages and that kind of thing?
I was in charge of actually inspecting their apartments. So you never knew what you was going to unlock on that door once you entered in the apartment.
You mean when they left, that's when you'd be doing the inspection, or even when they were there?
When they would leave. Also, we had monthly inspections just to make sure they're not tearing up the place too much, because we would have to turn these back into the community that they lived in. So we would have our monthly inspections to where students are in house, and so we definitely give them a warning that we're coming, but get thrown out, with the trash, and I come and they definitely are not prepared to fail their inspection.
When I was in the Marine Corps, we used to have weekly inspections. And when I first got there, I had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do a room inspection or a weekly inspection. I was like, so what? It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Then the inspector came and took out my dresser. And I don't mean look behind it. I mean, pulled it out of the room.
Yeah.
Did you clean under the dresser? And I was like, no, I didn't move the dresser. And they were like, no. And they flipped the dresser over. Clothes are going everywhere under the dresser. I was like, you guys are legit here. Here we go.
So I wasn't that kind of inspector. I ain't go that. I wasn't flipping over dresses.
I was just saying, I was never prepared either. I was like, well, I thought I was prepared.
Most of them do. Most of them think they're prepared, but they still fail. Yeah.
Harsh, brother, harsh.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
When you were working in senior care,
yeah.
How big of a facility was it? How many beds was it?
It was a medium-sized facility. It was, I think, about maybe 200 beds. It wasn't that big. It wasn't that big.
Yeah.
Um,
So would you run like 8, 10 staff members then? 200
yeah.
bed? Yeah.
Um, to
Did
where
you like it? Because that's a whole, I mean, that's, I mean, for those who don't know, you're going from cleaning rooms where nobody's in it. And right, especially in resorts, you're basically trying to work around people and they're gone. So you get in there and clean up. In
right.
nursing homes, senior care, hospitals, they're there.
Yeah,
They're watching you clean.
they're there. They're watching you clean. In a lot of cases, in this case, I was definitely hands on to where I was cleaning, and I was the floor tech manager slash floor tech. I learned how to buff floors there. I learned how to do it all because you that was the first place I really picked up learning how to just adapt and use the short amount of small resources I have to get the job done. Because as you probably know, working in there, you have these state inspections that happen, and if you're not having a state inspection, you're preparing for a state inspection.
1,000,000%. It's all about the inspection.
So pretty much you're on call 24/7 because they could come anytime.
Or
Yeah,
what they call a survey, right? A state
right.
survey. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm. Live and die by state surveys. I have been working in healthcare for a very long time. I have gone through hundreds of state surveys. I should write a book just on surveys.
You should. I would buy it. I would buy it.
How not to fail a survey,
Yeah.
I've been tagged. That's what they call it when they catch you doing something wrong. They tag you. And I have been tagged on nearly everything. I mean, I've gotten it wrong. I think I've gotten every single thing you can get wrong over the last 20 years. I've gotten every single thing. Not all at once, but one building, I'm like, oh, really great. And the next building, like, cubicle curtain, son of a. Next building, oh, great. Next building, Band-Aids on the floor. Really?
Man, cubicle curtains was my nightmare. And
Cubicle curtains suck.
hit and miss situation, So, what's clean is in the eyes of the beholder when it comes.
What's funny is I always, when it comes to cubicle curtains, and again, if you're not familiar with healthcare at all, it's a privacy curtain. So if you've ever been to the hospital and they're going to do something on you, they pull that little curtain. That's called a cubicle curtain or a privacy curtain. And I'm always teaching my housekeeping managers this whole concept of bed management when it comes to making sure that you move the bed so that the resident, the person in the bed, can't reach the privacy curtain. Because if they reach it, they'll use it. They'll wipe their mouth. They'll wipe the table.
Yes. That is so true. Yeah. Definitely didn't want to do a black light on the cubicle curtain.
I don't want to do a black light on anything. Truth be told, I'm like, we have lights that show that. I'm like, I don't want to see.
I'll pass.
See.
Yeah.
But what's really great is how much you truly learn about floor care. Floor care will make or break you in a healthcare facility.
So, funny story. I told you this is my first time using floor equipment. So, imagine me having the scrubber machine, and it's my first time, so I don't really know how to operate it all that well. So
you're talking about a high-speed buffer or a slow speed?
The high-speed buffer.
High speed, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
It's my third day, and my regional is taking me to the room. And he said, we're going to buff this room out. And mind you, the walls are pretty much thin, And
Here we go.
They're small rooms. So I'm thinking, I got it. I got control of it. All right. I got a good nice firm grip on the buffer. Okay. We're going to turn it on. Say there was a hole in the wall by the time I left out of the room. I thought the end of my job. I have a hole in the wall. Yeah, it's over. Yeah.
Too funny. That story times, 100 is exactly how it happens for all of us. When you first turn that machine on, you're like, oh, hey.
It definitely does not go the way that you want it to go directly automatically.
It's funny, like 5 days later, you're doing it with one hand, right? Like two fingers.
One turn it, you're a pro. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all, it's just a learning curve, but I've seen a lot of walls get damaged, an awful lot.
Yeah.
You learn when you're teaching somebody how to use a buffer for the first time to put yourself in the buffer's path. Like I'll put my foot in front of it, so I know where it's going to swing to. So I'll just catch it with my foot, so I don't hit a wall. But
yeah.
So great, great.
Or you just duck when they put it. Or you get out of it, turn it on.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. So too funny. So you leave there, you go from healthcare, and you start doing this dorm cleaning, inspecting. When did you go to? Is that from there? Did you go to the Dr. Phillips, or was there another place?
From there, I went to. I went back into healthcare, doing doctor's offices. It's a Compass Group.
Yeah, like a commercial cleaning.
Commercial cleaning. So a lot of the
Well, you've done it all.
Yeah. So a lot of the center cares and outpatient areas, we were doing doctor's office and stuff like that. I had locations I would travel to supervise and manage and make sure they were cleaning their units good. So that was an experience, just because you are they have contracts, and every client is different. So I would go into one office building and they would like their floors looking this way, and their rooms, their offices smelling that way, and then you go somewhere else and it was completely different. So it was all up to, you really had to anticipate what the client needed. So that was definitely it was a learning experience too, that I enjoyed, is picking up the different things and creating those relationships to where you have one contract, and based upon how good you clean that building, you can be referred to someone else, and now you've made a profit for the company because of the job that you do and the rapport that you have with the client. So so that was definitely a learning tool, just that I put in my pocket moving forward.
Did you ever, because most commercial cleaners like that are cleaning at night, and so you have very little to zero contact with the customer.
Right.
And I always find it fascinating. You know what? I was just talking to someone who, they keep losing. They clean houses, so they clean residential houses, but they keep having a problem where they'd hire someone, they'd get really good at working, and then they would start their own company. And they wouldn't start their own company and go start knocking on doors that they didn't know. They would take some of the customers that they were doing for this other person with them.
Right. Yeah.
And the reason I'm bringing it up is because our discussion, we were talking about it. I was saying one of the challenges that you have to overcome is your customer can't know, like, and admire and respect your employee more than they know, like, and admire you. It sounds like the only person they were seeing was the cleaner. And so, of course, they're like, if you ever go out on your own, I'll definitely go with you.
Right.
So you have to be in front of your client more and make that effort. What was it like for you when you were doing commercial cleaning to get in front of your clients? Was that part of what your job was too?
Definitely. So you're right. Most of our work did come in the nighttime, and my shift was just a nightmare because I'm there with the team at night, but I'm also having to make time for them face-to-face and one-on-ones with the clients when they're at work. So in the morning time, I could get off at maybe 2:00 in the morning and have to be right with the client at maybe like 10:00 the next day, 10:00 the same morning. So sleep was rare in between.
That, and you have kids at home.
Yeah. It has something called a life besides that, but what is that? But it was like I said, I'm a people person automatically, naturally. So it was always a pleasure getting to form them relationships, and that's what that was always my goal. And so you learn the people, you learn what their necks are and what they love to see. A lot of them, of course, the first thing you want to have a great floor tech in those kind of facilities because they like to see the floors clean and everything like that. So you all just it depends on the client and making sure you just have that rapport of what they like, what they dislike, and trying to anticipate and be proactive when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Did you guys ever utilize any type of, I don't know, how did you let your client know that you were there the night before? Do you know what I mean? Like, did you have any kind of mechanism, anything you left behind, or a note, a gift? I know a woman who cleans houses in Boston. Her name's Lakeisha, and she's super fantastic, and she gives cookies away. So every time she cleans your house, she leaves you with cookies, which is super great. But when you're doing commercial cleaning, how do you let people know?
Quite expensive if you're leaving one behind every time.
1,000,000%, because it's every day, right? She's doing houses, every 2 weeks or whatever. So it's not the same thing.
So the main thing I would leave behind is a smell of a clean room. We have products that once we spray them, the minute the client opens the door, they can tell we've been there. The appearance. If they left their office, the chairs are misplaced or stuff like that. You put in the chair where it's supposed to go. You're not rearranging desk or paperwork, but you're definitely making it to where your presence was known. Hey, it start for me. I'm a smell guy, so if it smells, open up a room, it smells fresh. Hey, housekeeping's definitely been in here.
Yeah,
it smells clean. Somebody's been here. So
I was cleaning a daycare recently, and we were having a little bit of problem. We were having two problems. One, with the amount of time they were giving us to clean it, because we were cleaning it in the morning before they opened. So instead of that night or in the afternoon, they wanted to just clean first thing in the morning. And so you can imagine with a daycare, they have an awful lot of chairs, and having to pick up all the chairs and put them all down. And so we finally got them to be able to pick the chairs up themselves at night, put them on the desk or the tables, and then in the morning, our social proof, or our proof that we were there, all the chairs would be on the floor. So we'd sweep them off the floor, which made it super easy for us because then we could do it super fast. We didn't have to move the chairs. And then as we mopped, we would just put the chairs down. So they come in, they'd see the chairs down, they'd go, all right, housekeeping was here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's even in the current climate we're in now, cleaning and sanitizing and proving that you've been in there is even more important in the current state that we're in. So, that's definitely evolved since then.
My friend Lisa McQueen, who is in Australia, and she owns a cleaning company, her and her husband, and she said that they've been getting a lot of requests because they do most of what they do is commercial cleaning, which is at night when nobody's around. And she was saying that a lot of her clients are asking her to add staff during the day for them for the same reason you're saying, just so they have eyeballs, like, oh, they see a cleaner. They just, to give that confidence boost that there is somebody there.
Yeah. And
which is good.
If I was a betting man, and probably a smart man, I would invest in just those clean and sanitized stickers that you have the hotels in. And, because again, even some of the clients I'm working with now at the center, they want to know that when they open up a dressing room, that it's been clean and sanitized. And how do you do that? We'll put a sticker right on the dressing room door that only can be cracked once you open the door. So I can bet those are going up in numbers. The request those.
I'm not sure how I feel about those. I only because I don't think that they look good to see a rip sticker on the door. I see them in hotels all the time. I've been in and out of hotels all the time, and a lot of hotels are using them. There's also a product. I can't think of what it is. What the name of it is off the top of my head. Maybe but you can put it on door handles, and it stays sanitized. So it's like a wrap that you stick on the door. And they too, they're making a ton of money selling those things. But even that, I wouldn't, you know what the best thing that I've ever seen is Wegmans. Do you know Wegmans? You ever heard of Wegmans? It's a grocery store up here in New York. I think they're in New Jersey. They're a very large grocery store chain, but up here. I saw a guy take out a wand, like a wand, and go to the bathroom door. He goes into the bathroom, checks the bathroom. On his way out, he takes this wand out of his pocket and he puts it up against this, like a quarter size plate that's on the side of the door. And he attaches, like checks in with it. And so I stop him. I'm like, what is that? And he said that everywhere that they go, there is this little medallion thing that this wand attaches to, and it sends a note, a little check mark in a computer system that tracks where we go and how often we're checking bathrooms, front entrances.
I've seen that in a lot of security uses that too, just as checkpoints. They'll put
that. Sure. That makes sense. I love that. Because it does give you the confidence. At the same time, every gas station I go into, you see on the back of the door, it has somebody signed off that the restroom was cleaned at, 3:15 today.
And I don't know about you, but I've been in the industry so long, so even when I'm on vacation, I'm looking at things to where, from a housekeeping manager perspective. So I was just in Cancun in July, and the place I went, man, their floors were just so immaculate. I'm like, what do you guys use? What do you guys use here? So, but saying that, one of the things I did find, and it wasn't Cancun, but it was a hotel I was in, just the sense of comfort I got, having that sticker there that was not broken, saying that it was sanitized. It just,
good.
Comfortable. Now, the challenge is, like you said, the aesthetics of it. It may not look as good having the sticker, but I think in this climate we're in, again, some aesthetics have to go out the window, because, I would rather not have a sanitized station right in front of my pristine performing arts center. But there it is. There's a sanitizer right there, because it's just some stuff we just have to do to make sure people are being, safe, and we're, securing them when they come to the facility now.
Yeah, no, I agree. And at the same time, though, I just read that one of the most disinfected pieces of equipment now, like the top, like everybody's disinfecting it, is the handle on a shopping cart, because everybody takes a hand sanitizer when they walk up to the grocery store. They have a big bag, big thing of hand sanitizer and wipes, and they just that thing is, it didn't even got paint on it anymore. They've taken the paint off of those things. And I'm reminded, even before the pandemic, in cleaning, in hotel cleaning, we always left sanitizer, wipes, just like a little packet for the remote control, or the telephone, like the door, all those common places, because people, because it came out. It wasn't that long ago where big studies came out, the dirtiest thing in a hotel room is the remote control. And everybody went up in arms like, oh my God, how often is the remote control being cleaned? And so we started to provide those little packets of Sani wipes. And so I wonder if, and again, I still work primarily in healthcare, so I'm not in the hotel space anymore, but I do wonder, I would be completely fine as a consumer, as somebody going to a hotel. I'd be completely satisfied if you left me sanitizers in the room and I just did it, because I'm probably going to anyway.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to wipe down the remote. I'm probably going to wipe down the phone. I won't even use the phone. I'll probably wipe down the desk, the bat. I'm going to do it anyway. So,
Well, everybody's not as clean as you, Ralph.
Well,
we can't leave that.
That's fair. Housekeepers Podcast. No, that's fair. That's fair. So when did you get to the Dr. Phillips Center?
Yeah, so I got to Dr. Phillips right after doing the contract work for those centers and doctor's offices. So, and it was, I mean, one of my being a local from Orlando, I've always wanted to work downtown. It's one of them things where just the atmosphere and the culture down there is amazing. It's a local lake called Lake Eola that I love to walk in and love to run. I'm a runner. I do run. I run some 3Ks every now and then and try
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, so I just had seen an opportunity pop up on Indeed one day. They were looking for a housekeeping manager, and I just went for the opportunity. And luckily, I got it, and I've been there ever since. And I love it. Great culture of arts and acceptance, and it's a wonderful place to work at.
So let's talk about it. So it's a performing arts center, which means I think they also have exhibit space there or meeting space there, right?
So it's a mix of theaters and ballrooms, small event spaces, as well as a school of arts that are one of our local hospitals sponsor as the name sponsor of.
Perfect. And that's what I thought. And so what that means for us in the cleaning industry is you really have a 6, 7 a.m. till 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 p.m. where you could be having to have staff and significant staff depending on the day. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. A normal shift would be anywhere start for me from 6:30 to 7:30 at night and it could run all the way to midnight depending on what event we have in the facility.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I wonder. So you got to tell me, just because I'm so curious about it. How do you set your schedules from week to week? And you must, in my head, you kind of like sit down with a group of people and go, all right, these are the events on the calendar for this week or for next week.
Right.
And you take what the events are, what the opening time, closing times are, what the estimated amount of people are coming in, and all of those come in to go, okay, I need 5 housekeepers, I need 7 floor, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we definitely work hand in hand with our programming team, and they use a system to where all the departments are aware, and it gets updated every day, daily, on what's going on throughout the facility, and we plan pretty much a whole fiscal year, and we just add stuff to the year, to the calendar, so I could easily go on there in the system and see what's going on for the next week and plan and schedule my staff according to that.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. Have you do you do anything other than cleaning? Like, are you in charge of security, transport, maintenance? Is there, sometimes once we get in there, we kind of assume everything.
Right. And so our department itself has 2 entities, which is housekeeping and engineering, which is under the umbrella of facilities. So I have a unique experience right now being technically a facilities manager, where I am pretty much overseeing both departments with that. So yeah.
Both engineering and housekeeping?
Yeah.
That's pretty great. And what kind of flooring do you have there?
So we have Tazartine. First of all, it's if you ever been, it's immaculate. It's beautiful. So the lobby itself is as a Tazartine stone. So if you're just looking at the naked eye, it's this is marble. No,
it just looks like marble. Yeah. But you can wax it, right? I mean, you can wax it, you can buff it.
Yeah. So we do buff it and we keep it shine, but with Tazartine, it's a special way that you can't have it too shiny and slick, because you want to make sure that people are not coming in and just slipping all over the place. So it's definitely a process to where we like it shiny, but we don't like it to where it's ice skating ring.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a technique that our floor techs have been trained on. Just make sure that it's you can see yourself in it. You definitely can see a reflection, but you just can't see yourself falling down.
and for those of you who haven't seen a Dr. Phillips Center, Google it, because the image, it's all glass. right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's no shortage of sunlight coming in, hitting those floors.
Right. So that's the whole the architecture in mind had where it's arts for every life, and so we try to make it to where it's welcoming. A lot of the old school performing arts center is very enclosed, but one of the things about our center is you can see, this is even from the inside. A lot of our office spaces, they don't have curtains or anything like that. It's definitely inclusion oriented to where we want you to feel welcome. We want you to see what's going on inside of the space on a nightly basis. So that was the thought behind it, and it was an awesome thought. It's just a challenge cleaning all those windows.
When you have that much glass, right? you see it all. You see it all.
See it all. But yeah. And as a housekeeping manager, that's an opportunity to where you have to schedule, the quarterly cleanings of glass and window spaces, just to make sure again that you're keeping up that immaculate appearance that guests are looking forward to seeing every day.
Yeah, you know what else is super fun is that while it's a performing arts center, it's also an office building, right? So you have offices, you have event space, you have setup, you have tear down, right? Like it's you have catering, you have every aspect of cleaning. I imagine you have an awful lot of rubber floors in the back where, and all the service entrances around the kitchen, you have ceramic tile, you have carpeting probably in some of the office space. You must have every area surface to clean possible. How many kitchens do you have? How many bathrooms do you have? I mean, it must be a million in there.
Oh my gosh. There between front of house, which is, what the normal guest can see, and then back of house, the office spaces, we have, I'm just going to say numerous amount of bathrooms because, not just, just the normal bathrooms, but then, the dressing rooms that have their own bathroom inside.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah, we have plenty of bathroom spaces. But again, that's a great opportunity to make sure that is, because, we take pride in our bathrooms, Ralph. We had a reviewer months back that she put, "It's an honor to pee here." That's how good, So yeah, we take the we take our bathroom cleaning with pride.
I love everything about that. I had a reviewer one time say they wrote that Ralph Peterson makes me want to clean bathrooms. Like, all right. Or maybe she said toilets. Ralph Peterson makes me want to clean toilets. That's a pretty good compliment. Pretty good compliment. Honor to pee here. That's gonna be the show title. It's an honor to pee here.
I loved it.
Yeah, I would too. Let me ask you to pee here. I swear I'm calling this episode "It's an Honor to Pee Here." That's the greatest title ever. Housekeepers Podcast. We're talking to Josiah Moore. He's the executive housekeeper down there at the Dr. Phillips Center in Orlando, Florida. Google it. Trust me, you want to Google this place. It's so great.
Yes.
How is staffing for you guys right now? What was last year like?
Last year was a challenge, like in a lot of places, especially in a tourism area like Orlando and Central Florida, to where we depend on people coming to our area in the entertainment spaces that we have. So we got down to the bare minimum staff that's able to run a building. So we're talking about just maybe 3 or 4 housekeepers, and just whatever it is, just to keep operations going. And that was in every department. Now I am privileged to be at a forward-thinking facility like Dr. Phillips, to where we remained open throughout the pandemic, just because of things and oversight that they had made, and the decisions they had made to just keep us afloat and keep us going. Some people got furloughed and laid off for some time, but we're able to come back eventually because we made some moves and steps and thought outside the box with event planning and how to bring local art and people back to work. So we, created this whole front yard festival that was brought, events from the inside, took it out to a pod area. So we had pod and distant pods to where people could be safe and still watch the concert, which was pretty cool. So so staffing was definitely a challenge, but we've got over that hurdle and look forward to the upcoming season, such as Broadway, and we see that sort of stuff picking back up now.
I wonder, just being in Orlando, and it is such a great town, and there's so many things to do and see, and unique restaurants and theme parks. I mean, there's, it's got to be one of the greatest places. Has, through your career, has staffing always been a challenge, or there's always been a pretty good pool of staffing? What is the answer? And I honestly don't know.
Well, I'll tell you right now, staffing is, because now we're coming out of not out of the pandemic itself, but people are the workforce is coming, they're entering the workforce again, and it's competitive, with rates and pay. The challenge for me is, a lot of times, you're not going to be the company that has the greatest or the largest pay rate, but you hope that they buy into the culture and what you're presenting as far as the atmosphere that you have at the place, because you go to a random place and they offering $1,000 signing bonus, and a lot of employers cannot compete with that. So the challenge is making sure you have somebody that shares your same passion for cleaning, for people, and it can buy into what you're trying to sell as an organization, as a department moving forward. Because again, my goal as the manager is to make sure that you enjoy what you do, and it's not just something that you do, but you have a passion behind it. So and that helps every department, and just in general, making sure you have that great attitude and smiling face that you wouldn't get somewhere else.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And again, being such a touristy town, attitude is really everything.
Yeah.
I was just this is so silly, but I think you said it earlier, like once you get into a leadership position, once you get into management position, it's hard not to see anything other than a management issue, right? Like everywhere you go, you're just evaluating the management team. And my wife and I just went to a restaurant, a really high-end restaurant, busy restaurant, very, very expensive to eat there. And there wasn't a single person who was smiling. And I said to Louise, I said, either they're intentionally saying, hey, we are a very serious restaurant with a very serious client, and we want, no tomfoolery around here, or it's got to be the most miserable place to work. And I don't know what the answer is, but it was really challenging. I can't imagine that you would want anything other than, to begin with, a really good disposition before you even can work anywhere in Orlando.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
I'm big on that, cause, and that's why, I'm definitely advocate on being in something that you're most passionate about. So if something gets on your nerve a lot, you might be passionate about it. That gets on my nerve is bad customer service, Ralph. When I enter into a restaurant, if I'm not greeted, I'm turned off right away. If I'm not greeted within the first minute or two, when you having side conversations and don't greet your guests, I'm like, okay, this is the wrong restaurant for me. So and Central Florida is known for tourism, and we try to make sure we have those places. In Disney, a lot of times the marquee standard for that kind of stuff. Somebody was telling me a story of just how they some of their receptionists, they answer the phone and they're like, I'm calling from the fairy town of. I'm like, you're the receptionist, and this is what I'm getting right now. That's awesome. You're painting the picture by just answering the phone.
It's the best.
You go above and beyond to make this, the experience the best. So it's no different in our industry. You can, because a lot of times, here's the thing: half of my employers are not going to speak the best English, okay? But they can smile. And a smile is universal, That's one of the things I teach. A smile is universal. And whether that's hola, como esta, buenos dias, or hello, good morning, that is universal. So the first, and I say it's a part of your uniform. If you're not smiling, you're out of uniform.
I like it. If you're not, maybe that's the title. If you're not smiling,
it's under P here, and if you're not smiling, you're out of uniform. Okay, take notes, ladies and gentlemen.
We're going to be taking votes on what this episode is going to be called. I'm curious how you never worked for Disney. How did that happen? It seems like it's right up your alley. It seems like it's a shoe fit. I mean, a shoe in.
Well, I told you, I'm a local. So I grew up going to Disney. So it's something that you sort of, Disney, been there, done that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
After going there, hundreds of times, you're like, I never work here.
I read a story a while ago. Maybe it was actually before the pandemic, but there was a woman who lives in Orlando and she's a babysitter. And what she does is she babysits by taking kids to the theme parks. That's what she does for a job. I'm like, I feel like I got ripped off from my childhood. We didn't go anywhere. My babysitter sucked. Sat on the couch talking to her boyfriend.
Right.
There's a babysitter bringing kids to Disney. How crazy is that?
Kids these days, they got it so good.
They got it so good. So, do you ever? Is there? What's like? You must be attending some events while you're at Dr. Phillips. Do you get to attend anything? Is there any?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the perks. That's part of the culture. That's what I'm selling. When I am recruiting. You're able to take part in some awesome events that come in concerts, Broadway shows, things like that. On any given day, I can walk into the facility and, hear some Mozart or, kids singing. And it's just like, wow, I'm coming to this every day. And sometimes you take it for granted, but it's definitely a culture that, I love. You come in and, at any moment you listen to anything from a Mozart piece or some kind of ballet going on, and it's blasting throughout the facility, and you just see everybody just have a different vibe and culture by itself. So it definitely.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I worked as a cleaner for the Stowe Mountain Performance Arts Center in Stowe, Vermont, and they would have these awesome concerts all summer long. And I was always there. I drove a forklift. It's one of the skills. As a cleaner, driving a forklift, trust me, that's a great skill to have. Because we're picking up trash outside, doing the dumpsters and all the trash cans in the parking lots and all of that. Like, we were busy the entire time while the concert's going on, but you can still hear it. It's really great. It wasn't until, this still burns my chops here. It wasn't until the end of the season that I learned that there were two cleaners who were backstage every show cleaning. They were backstage with Soul Asylum, with Screaming Trees, with Aerosmith. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? I could. Housekeepers Podcast. I was outside running a forklift, picking up trash in the parking lot. These other two jokers are back there cleaning up after Aerosmith. I wanted to clean up after Aerosmith. I like Soul Asylum.
And that's, in my opinion, that's the goal, to be there but not be there. So, I consider myself a housekeeping ninja. All right.
I like it.
You respond to something so quick, and it never happened. What spill?
I love it. I love it. Maybe it's going to be called Housekeeping Ninja.
Come on. Yeah. So that's something that we pride ourselves in. Getting in and out of a situation to where you're not disrupting an event, so that they can still enjoy the show and you're getting in and getting out, and getting a good response time. Yeah.
I was at this is not quite the same thing, but a little bit the same thing. I was at a bar and they have the bar, it's called Gusto's Bar in Vermont, and they have an indoor and an outdoor. And once you get in the bar, you can go out in the backyard and there's horseshoes and basketball, and there's no way to get out from the backyard because it's a huge fence. So you're in there. So it's a safe place, as far as like liability goes and everything. And in the summer months, everybody's out there just partying it up. There's bonfires and all that. Well, there's also a lot of people who, overdo it and they get sick in the backyard. And I remember seeing this guy, he would just be, you don't even, again, to your housekeeping ninja kind of thing, you didn't even know he was there. And he's just, over in a dark corner somewhere, and somebody gets sick and he comes flying over with a hose. In 2 seconds, the party's still going on. It's cleaned up completely. Nobody saw anything. The girl's getting another drink. She's getting another drink.
Yeah, those are housekeeping goals.
Just back there, just waiting for something to happen. Like, I love it. Love it. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so happy to meet you.
Yeah, same here, man. I'm having a blast, bro.
This is such a great conversation. I feel like I could talk to you all day about this. It's just
yeah.
Kindred spirits, my friend. Kindred spirits.
Indeed.
Housekeepers Podcast.
Right. Honored to be here.
That's why we call it the cleanest hour in podcasting, because that's what we're talking about. Being a housekeeping ninja. What spill? That's the best part, because I don't know if it works as a title because it's housekeeping ninja. What spill? Like you have to put it together. What spill?
Yeah.
That's when you know you're good. That's when you know you're on top of your game.
That's when you know. Yeah.
When somebody goes to, they see something and they go to the front desk and they're like, hey, I just want to let you know there's an issue in this bathroom. And then the front desk calls you up, go, hey, there's a problem. Yeah, we already took care of it. Oh,
right.
We already took care. Like, it's already done.
Yeah.
Put the phone down. It's already done. Love it. Again, I'm so happy to meet you. Like I said,
yeah,
it's such a weird way to even, how I meet people, and it's so crazy sometimes. And somebody just literally goes, have you seen the Dr. Phillips Center? It's like, no. Well, whoever cleans that place, you can have on the show.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, man. Just being in the industry, and I appreciate your podcast because it really shines a light on a profession that we're behind the scenes, and we have our own stories to tell. So just thank you for creating that avenue to tell the story and get tips from different professions and different aspects. So I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. I love it. I've been in this industry for my whole life, and the people I meet just like you. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. It's such great people and hard workers. Before we go, I really do have to ask, because it's just burning in my head here. You said you were in Cancun, and you said their floor care was on point. And you said, what are they using? Did you get an answer? Is it Windex? What are they buffing with?
I didn't get an answer.
Son of a...
Maybe it was in Spanish and I didn't.
How do you say Windex in Spanish?
So I could have got an answer, but then, I didn't have my English and Spanish app at that point. So.
Yeah, because I was in Mexico. I'm going to say Mexico, because who cares where I was? But I was in Mexico, and I saw a cleaner use the toilet to get water out for the mop. And that's the opposite of what your experience.
That wouldn't work. That wouldn't work in Dr. Phillips.
I remember just seeing it like out of the corner of my eye and going, what just happened? Did that just happen? Again, I didn't speak the language, so who the heck knows? Yeah, so it's funny because I'm such a floor tech fanatic. I'm so interested in every time somebody posts a picture of floors, I'm always like, that looks amazing. How many coats of wax is on it? Like, I just want to know.
How many diamonds goes in that pad?
And although I love a freshly waxed floor, I really do. It looks like it's wet. It just looks really, really amazing. You want to impress me? Show it to me in 4 days later. Like, I want to see the buffing routine. I want to see the maintenance. Let's see how that looks on a regular day, not overnight stripping and refinishing. Not that I don't appreciate it. I know how much work goes into it. I do like it, but I like a buff floor.
Dry, because a dry floor and a wet floor. And a wet floor can be, I learned this again in the senior living facility. You can have, it can look wet. It can be like, that's clean. And as soon as you dry it, like, it's not, it's not clean at all. It was just wet.
Nowadays, what's fun about having a cell phone on you at all times is a lot of people, especially in house cleaning, in residential cleaning, we use our phones to document clean.
Right.
And so we're sending pictures to our clients, sending pictures to our boss. Hey, look at this floor. And of course it looks amazing because it's wet. I never want to bring it up because I know we're sending the same pictures to the home owners, and as long as they just get the picture, they're just showing it to their friends like, oh, look at my kitchen. Look at that floor. It looks really great. They're not hopefully realizing when they get home, hey, the floor does not look the way it looked in that picture. We have a 4K camera on that thing.
I love it. I love the pickup lines we have right now. It's not clean, it's wet. We're up to like 5 decent lines right now.
We're not bad. We're not bad. So it's an honor to be here. It's in the running. If you're not smiling, you're out of uniform. Not terrible. Not terrible. Housekeeping ninja. What spill? And it's not clean. It's wet. No, what did we say?
Yeah. It's not clean. It's wet.
It's not clean. It's wet. I don't know what we're going to call this, but I just absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much again, Josiah, for being on the show and for everything you're doing, because you're one of those examples of people meeting people in the cleaning business and they go, oh, it really is a profession. Oh, it really is full of hardworking professional people,
Indeed.
So I really appreciate that about you. And thank you.
Hey, no problem. Thank you, Ralph. It was a pleasure talking with you, man.
Yes, sir. Don't go anywhere. Everyone else, we will see you all later. This has been the Housekeepers Podcast. Again, if you like the show, if you enjoyed today's show, please make sure. Hey, by the way, are you hiring?
Oh, thanks for asking that. Yeah.
How do we apply? If somebody's looking for, if you're in Orlando, you want to work for a cool person in a cool building doing cool things, Josiah?
drphillipscenter.org. You can click on that link. It has a number of opportunities right now to where you can join our facility. That's housekeeping, our engineering. So yeah, hiring on both.
So it's drphillipscenter.org. And what do you call your cleaners? Are they called housekeepers? Are they called cleaners? Are they called?
We actually call them porters.
Porters.
Yeah, at Dr. Phillips. Yeah.
Everybody has a different name. Whatever. Just trying to get the lingo.
Yes. Yeah.
Just trying to get the lingo. That's it. The Housekeepers Podcast. If you want to go and work for Josiah, and I recommend it, to go to drphillipscenter.org and you can find out all the opportunities there. Otherwise, if you love the show, as I know you did, make sure that you're subscribing and that you're liking and sharing and telling everybody about it. And if you're really, really cool, maybe you'll write a review. Would love that about you. Anyway, that's it. Josiah Moore for Dr. Phillips Center, which again, I'm telling you, you've got to see this place. Google it. It's amazing looking. I'm Ralph.